Morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Wow, guys, it is a bit nippy out here. Just take a look. I don't know if you can see the steam. Sometimes the light passes through it and you can't see it through the phone, but it's steaming up. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you. And boy, what a cold snap that we had. And it's nice. It's warmed up a bit, but the last couple days, was it ever chilly? Wow. Judy had me out here splitting wood there on the weekend so that I had a nice roasty fire going there practically almost 24 hours. Overnight it kind of died down, but I just shoved a few more logs in there in the morning and got it back up again. It was really nice. Well, guys, here we are. We're back to all these big elites guys are over there having their annual back patting and ego stroking festival over in Davos. And, it is almost laughable, the stuff that these guys are coming out with. Truly mind-bending. You got them talking about how, X is a danger, can't have that. And, goodness sakes, if you know who wins the next election, God forbid, and on and on and on. And making plans for the rest of our lives. I'll tell you what, how we're going to live, what we're going to have, what we're not going to have. And, by 2030, how we're not going to have nothing and be happy about it. And on top of that, deciding for us that, hey, listen, you don't need to have combustion engines anymore. We're all going to have EV vehicles. And, although the mileage is, not that great, you're only going to get so many 100 kilometers out of your little charge. And then you're going to have to wait 45 minutes to an hour and a half and perhaps in a lineup to charge that vehicle. But that's okay because we're going to stuff y'all in 15-minute cities just to make sure you don't have to worry about it anymore. Oh, and on top of that, forget about having a vacation in the same year that you want to visit your kids or your parents on Thanksgiving because, you got to have certain, amount of those, ESG scores in order to take more than one flight a year because you don't need all those flights. But guys, of course, we need to fly in here on our Lear jets and on and on and on. Not only that, I was watching DAI the other day and boy, did he ever make me laugh. He had on there an advertisement that was talking about how all the escort agencies over in Davos are completely booked out for the whole, time that they're over there. And it's truly obscene. And in fact, if you go in on social media, there have been pictures of these wild bashes and parties that these guys have while they're over there deciding the fate of the whole wide world. It is just absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that these multi-billionaire types that, they'll get in there and, we'll kind of let them kind of dictate this stuff too is truly mesmerizing. Now, I get it that if you want to play in the big leagues, you kind of have to hang around the big players, don't you? So it makes sense to me why you're going to see, Ripple and all these other people out there because, of course, they know, hey, like it or not, the way it works in the world, the golden rule of the world is he who has the gold makes the rules, isn't it? Well, do you think that hasn't changed in all these hundreds, if not thousands of years back from where they had serfdom till now? Not in your life. It's still the same old game. It's just they painted it with a different brush. And so, of course, if you want to get out there and really do something in the wide world, well, you're going to have to rub shoulders with some of these guys because, yeah, they're the decision makers, like it or not. Now, we have literally acquiesced and we've allowed that. Just think of what's gone on in Europe and in the UK. Holy moly. And there's the mother of the Magna Carta, the beginnings of all of the democracies that a lot of us tout and hold in high esteem. And yet look at what's going on over there and how they're being dictated to about this and that and on and on and on. And the restrictions they're being put on, and it is crazy. And they are on their way to 15-minute cities full bore. But do you think the elites over there have to deal with all that? Not on your life, I'll tell you what. Guys, let's be honest, it's human nature. And, absolute power, as they say, corrupts absolutely, doesn't it? That's what we're really watching here. We're watching human nature right at work because inside of it, man, even the Bible says the heart is deceitfully wicked and who can know it? Only God can really see the depths of it. And it takes the redemptive power of the Lord Jesus Christ, in my belief system anyway, to truly change. People don't change, but God changes people. That's at least what I believe. Now, having said that, when it comes to how we interact with this kind of stuff, this is where we have to be as shrewd can be. And that's like what Jesus was saying. Because even in his day, let's be honest, all this politics was going on. That's what put him on the cross, was the politics, wasn't it? Between, the leading of the Jews and all the stuff that was going on with the Romans and all this kind of stuff, and how they wanted to just, it's truly ridiculous. But that's what was going on. Same thing is going on today. And this is what Jesus said. He said, listen, be as wise as serpents, harmless as doves. And that's how we have to be, wise as serpents. And the only way to win in this kind of space is not to play the game. You don't let them get out there and kind of manipulate your thoughts and your feelings and rile you all up and on and on and on. And that's why, in a lot of these cases, I'm just sitting back and laughing, because it is like the biggest dog and pony show that they had ever had. I'll tell you, boy, oh boy. But talk about, just a treasure trove of stuff to kind of, hey, the comedians are going to get a lot of material. The news articles are going to get a lot of material. Hey, YouTube, us guys, we're going to get a lot of material. So I'll tell you what, it's a feeding frenzy whenever they go out there and they have this annual, convention. Like I say, it's the back-patting, ego-stroking festival that they all have with one another. And it just, I'll tell you what, it provides so much material. It is truly insane. And for us, it's a great blessing, right? Because sometimes, you're really looking for material. Man, you would not believe how many articles sometimes I have to go out and read in order to actually find great content to present to you in the videos that we do. Because it seems like a lot of articles are out there, they're saying the same thing, or they're absolutely pure opinion pieces and on and on. And I'd love to get you like little nuggets if I can possibly get them. And of course, when you go out and do that, well, you're subject to potentially, reporting things that turn out not to be true and stuff. And you're not going to know that until way after the fact, usually, because there's no other sources to go out and absolutely corroborate these stories. So you get out there and you report it and you share it and you say, hey, this is what this one says, this is what that one says. And I leave it up to you guys to make up your own minds whether or not you accept it or not. Because look, there's too much of this stuff going on right now where you're told what opinion you ought to have, aren't you? And you're literally shamed into, if you don't have the opinion they think you should have, well, you're literally shamed into those, or you're threatened with being, I guess, social media ostracized, that kind of stuff. Get excommunicated from, a lot of these platforms and things. And yet they want to say, oh, we're bastions of free speech. We want to be platforms. They don't want to be platforms of free speech. Come on. They want to be platforms for you to sign up so they can data mine your information, turn around and sell that to advertisers, make billions upon billions of dollars, and at the same time control what you think and say. Wow. I'll tell you, what a world. Whoa. Back in our day, we would have never even fathomed that this is the way the world would actually be turning out the way it is now. I'm not kidding. And you see these kids nowadays making fun of all the boomers and the Gen X's. Well, I'll tell you what, those boomers were doers. They built this world. I kid you not. And, going out there, our parents and, of course, our generation that went out there and literally built the economies and the structures and the infrastructure and the industry and all that. And that type of stuff. Gen Xers came along, and I'll tell you what a hard-working and, get this, principle-based, generation, really, when it comes down to it. Because we could go through all this. You try and get these kids to absolutely, now some will. I'm not throwing the whole thing, baby out with the bathwater here. But, by and large, if they think that they're going to pull a draft to get kids to go to fight for this, what we believe in this country, goodness sakes, I kid you not. I highly doubt that most kids are going to sacrifice a weekend, let alone their lives, for the principles that we in these Western nations say that we uphold. That's for sure. Wow. Now, of course, there are some. I mean, we've got kids of our own, that are out there and they are in the military. They're doing this and that, and they're doing what they can for the country. And I really respect that. I respect anybody that's willing to be in law enforcement, the medical field. People that are willing to get out there and serve absolutely deserve our respect. And there are people out there, but it's becoming a more and more of a minority. Why? Because we're all getting dumbed down and we're all being fed this stuff. And a lot of people are just ripe to take this whole universal basic income and just allow the government to take care of them from cradle to grave. And I'm telling you, that is a road to absolute disaster and insanity and slavery. You will lose your independence. You will lose your ability to have and express free thought. You'll lose your ability, to the pursuit of happiness. Forget that. It's going to be the pursuit of the common good. And we know what that leads to, guys. I'm telling you, that is where this whole thing, do not think universal basic income and all that goes with that and all this stuff that these guys are talking about right now over there, I'm telling you, is a disaster for the majority of mankind. That's my personal opinion, I'll tell you what. And that part is not funny at all. That's a scary proposition, I'll tell you. So anyway, guys, that's what's going on in the wide world. And I sure hope your Thursday has started off as a good one. And I'll tell you, actually, I think today's Wednesday, isn't it? Boy, I'm getting ahead of myself being retired over here. But anyhow, guys, I sure hope you're having an absolutely fantastic one. And until later on, and oh, by the way, I want to throw this out there. So last night, I didn't get my video out there. Well, the reason I didn't get it out there is my computer literally crashed on me. Had to kind of rebuild the thing practically from scratch. And so I got it all back up. Everything's all running and humming, and hopefully that's good. And now another thing too, if you guys have sent me an email, I actually respond to all of my emails. And if you've sent me one and you haven't seen a response, just check your spam folders and things like that, because my guess is it might have popped down in there. So anyway, well, guys, until later on when we have an absolutely amazing video planned for you, have a great one and take care.